So I picked up the base model M4 Mac Mini to replace my M2 MacBook Air as the main workhorse for my production company. And by production company, I mean this YouTube channel, my TikTok and IG, and the random times that I do videography work. Now, I happen to be a base model bandit, meaning I tend to avoid any upgrades whenever I buy something, especially when it comes to Apple products. Because let's face it, their add-ons get extremely steep very quickly. And lucky for all of us, the base model M4 Mac Mini is highly regarded as an absolute steal, coming in at just $599. However, I do notice that it does have some quirks and a couple of trade-offs that you should probably know about. So the Mac Mini was announced by Apple as the perfect device with an extremely low entry cost, and they really drove home the idea that this Mac Mini was meant for all types of people, whether you're a video creator, student, photographer, you name it. And I've been using mine for just under a month now, and it just so happens that I fall under a lot of those categories. I've been using this thing for 4K 10-bit video editing like what you're watching right now, photo edits for my thumbnails and Instagram uploads, for productivity, writing emails, scripts, docs, etc., and also for leisure, aka gaming, when I'm not doing any of the things that I just mentioned. But as cheap as it is, you're obviously gonna have to spend some extra money, especially if you don't already have all the peripherals. So for $599 or $499 if you have the education discount, you get the brand new M4 chip with the 10-core CPU and 10-core GPU, 16 gigs of unified memory, 256 gigs of storage, 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports on the back, and 2 USB-C ports on the front. And so you've probably noticed the first major issue glaring at you, and it's the fact that 256 gigs of storage is sus. So while you have the option of paying Apple $200 to double the storage to 512, I decided to go for a 2 terabyte Thunderbolt SSD, and honestly, I think this is the better option. It's kind of crazy to think that you're paying pretty much half the price of the device itself just to double the internal storage, so it kind of makes more sense just to do your own thing. Now, I happen to use a studio display, which you can see right beside me, and yes, I know it's a little bit overpriced, but the nice thing about it is that it has USB-C ports on the back, which means I can leave my external plugged in permanently and it's completely out of sight. And even if you don't have a display with ports in it, whether you decide to use the Thunderbolt ports on the back of the Mac Mini or the USB-C ports on the front, these drives are typically plenty fast, so you can leave them plugged in permanently and edit directly from them. Now, the second glaring issue that a lot of people have with the Mac Mini, myself included, is the fact that it doesn't have an SD slot. And even though I'm a quote-unquote creator, somebody who uses SD cards on a regular basis, I do understand the fact that this computer isn't necessarily geared to just creators. As a matter of fact, there are creators out there who don't use traditional cameras, and so an SD card slot just doesn't even make sense for them either. And like I said, as someone who's coming from a MacBook Air which never had an SD card slot to begin with, it really doesn't change my workflow too much. I'm gonna have to use a dongle no matter what. And honestly, after almost a month of use, those are the only 2 issues that I've personally found with this Mac Mini. So let's jump into the positives that most people are gonna appreciate. But before you do that, if you've made it this far in the video, feel free to drop 2 black hearts down in the comments so I can thank you personally, and consider leaving a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel because it goes a long way in helping me out. All right, let's get back to the video. So the first positive for me is video editing. Now, personally, I use DaVinci Resolve, but if you're somebody that uses Final Cut Pro, then you're pretty much laughing at this point, because I found that on this device, DaVinci runs beautifully, and the fact that Final Cut is actually optimized for Mac, I can only imagine that the experience in that app is going to be incredible. Now, to give you an example, if you look at one of my most recent uploads, which is the review of the VinFast Via Fate EV, that was a pretty involved video where I had footage from 4 different cameras. Everything was shot in 4K 10-bit, and yeah, my MacBook Air was able to handle the edit. I didn't really have too many issues, but when it came to rendering, the times were atrocious. So the total render time from the MacBook Air was about 12 minutes long, whereas on the base model M4 Mac Mini, I was looking at about 8 or 9 minutes. And I know those are both still pretty long times, but if you consider the fact that it was an 18-minute video and the render took half the time, I think that's still pretty good. Like when I think back to my old Windows desktop PC where I used to edit in Adobe Premiere, this same edit and export would have probably taken 25 to 30 minutes. And it was pretty much the same story when it comes to photo editing as well. Now, I'm not somebody who does any insane edits. Like, I don't really use Photoshop for anything too crazy. Most of my workflow is done in Adobe Lightroom, where I'm playing around with filters, adjusting photos, and exporting a ton of photos at once. And again, it's not photographer level where I'm exporting, 300 to 500 photos. At most, I do about 50, and this thing has never had an issue with that whatsoever. So you know what? Just for fun, let's take a look at my IG folder where I think I have about 300 edited photos, and we're just gonna export that entire thing and see how long it takes. All right, so let's open up Lightroom. There is the most recent photo that I've been using. There's actually 563 photos in this folder. And as you can see, they all have various different grades. And some of these are raw, some of them aren't, but whatever. It's still a pretty good test. So you can see in the top corner, or maybe you can't, but it says 563 photos. And this is gonna take a lot longer than I expected. I'm kind of stupid. I forgot to set a timer because I thought Lightroom would have one built in. But as you can see here, we're at 540, 550 of 563, 1:16 a.m. We started at 1:08. So to export 500 and I think I said 63 photos, that took about 8 minutes. I don't know how many seconds, but 8 minutes. And this is the base model Mac Mini. And so yeah, that was it. Again, I'm not a photographer, so I don't know how long this is actually supposed to take, but in my opinion, that was pretty quick. And then finally, let's talk about gaming, because that seems to be one of the major points of contention every time Apple releases a new set of computers. You always have people coming out the woodworks talking about the fact that Macs aren't good for gaming, they're only good for creative things. But over the last couple of years, Apple has put a huge emphasis on the gaming aspect of their computer. Just looking at the announcement for the Mac Mini alone, they did talk a lot about the fact that this thing is geared for gaming, and they showed a couple stills here where they have gaming controllers paired to the Mac itself. I'm not the craziest PC gamer, like the most that I'll play is League of Legends very casually, but I'm also kind of heavy on the teamfight tactics, and I find that I'm able to play both variants without any issues at all. Now again, because I'm just a filthy casual, maybe there's something that I'm missing here, but in my opinion, it looks good and it runs very smoothly. The majority of my gaming though happens to be on console and on Xbox specifically, so I'm never really going to have an issue with gaming when it comes to using the Mac Mini because I do have a Game Pass Ultimate subscription. So as you can imagine, it's super easy for me just to pair my Xbox controller to the Mac Mini and essentially pick up where I left off when I was playing my Xbox or the ROG Ally X, because I essentially just run everything on Game Pass. And these days you can run Game Pass Ultimate off of a Fire Stick 4K or even just like a random Samsung Smart TV. So as you can probably imagine, the Mac Mini has absolutely no issues with Game Pass games whatsoever. And for anyone that came here expecting benchmark scores and all that super technical stuff, I apologize to you in advance. But for me personally, when it comes to reviewing and using these computers, all that I care about is the practical aspect. You can show me all the numbers in the world, but I want to know how those numbers actually translate to everyday use. And so if your use case is even anything even remotely close to mine, then I guarantee you're going to be happy with the M4 Mac Mini. I mean, it's really hard to go wrong when you come in at such a low price point and have such high performance in pretty much every aspect. And I think really the best way to look at this device, if you're trying to decide if it's powerful enough for you, is to compare it to the base model M4 MacBook Pro. A lot of people hear the word Pro and automatically think I absolutely need that. This thing is geared for me. But if you look at the specs, they're actually very, very similar to what the Mac Mini has at a fraction of the cost. And I'm not just yapping, this is a 14-inch M4 base model MacBook Pro right here. And honestly, aside from the fact that it's a little bit more portable and has an SD card slot, it really doesn't outperform the Mac Mini. I've pretty much done all the same things on this laptop as I've been doing on the Mac Mini behind me, and the difference is negligible. Like honestly, I really haven't noticed any difference at all. So essentially for $599, you're basically getting a smaller M4 MacBook Pro that sits nicely on your desk and boosts the overall aesthetic. That also comes with more ports and essentially the same amount of power at the end of the day. So yeah, I don't know, just some food for thought for those of you who might be on the fence trying to decide if the MacBook Pro is right for you, or if you want to sway towards a Mac Mini or MacBook Air. But yeah, that's essentially it. There's not much more that I can say about this computer. It's a fantastic computer, and at that price point, it's really hard to pass up. But as always, if you've got any questions, comments, concerns, or you want to see some comparisons, leave them down below and I'll be sure to get back to you. But that's pretty much it from me. Much love as always, throwing up two of them, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.